So I just did a video about some of the craziest scams of 2026, and I saw the comments. You guys really enjoyed that video. So I'm back with another video, and we're going to be breaking down a whole bunch of the craziest scams that are still going on this year. And some of these are going to surprise you. So the first one we're looking at, okay, is related to gasoline, right? So people are saying gas is already expensive enough, but now card scamming is coming back at fuel stations, and there are ways that people are doing to finesse it to actually basically get around having to pay for gas. So it says the gas pump scam alert. All right, thieves are putting stickers over the tap to pay symbol at gas stations. The sticker doesn't steal your info, but it disables tap to pay, so you're then forced to insert or swipe your card right where they've hidden a skimmer. Tap to pay is one of the safest ways to pay. It uses a one-time tokenization, and your real card number is never transmitted or shared. So if you see a sticker covering the tap area, or the tap suddenly doesn't work, walk away and use a different pump immediately. I swear I've noticed this before, you know. So this video shows exactly what it looks like, has a full breakdown. But yeah, this is crazy. So you might be going to get some of that expensive gas, and then someone's over here scamming you for your gas money, and you know what I'm saying, they're going to go and spend a bag.
Get this pump. Somebody put friggin' skimmer on there. That is... I never believe this stuff when I find it. There it is.
If this ever happens to you, do not use that pump. This is why. That sticker, that's not the thing that's going to steal your information. What it's going to do is make tap to pay not work. We like using tap to pay because it transmits just a special ID. It doesn't transmit your personal information or the card information. But that sticker, that will block it from working. And what happens is then you say, all right, well, I'm going to have to use the card reader. That is where they have the scam. They have a skimmer there in place, and they put the sticker in front of the tap to pay to make it not work. In that particular clip, it did not look like there was a card skimmer, but those are often very small form factor and very hard to see. So if you ever walk up to a gas pump and it has those stickers on top of the tap to pay, find another pump. Find one with a regular tap to pay. And if you accidentally used your tap to pay on that sticker and you find that it didn't work, don't worry, no information has been stolen. That thing cannot read anything. Do me a favor, send this to your best friend so they don't get scammed at a gas station. I'll talk to you soon.
So you got to look out at the gas station, man. Okay. And now there's some other scams that are pretty crazy. Okay. This is the squatter scam. Okay. This apparently has led to a fight over a $2 million home, where basically this teen has taken on an accused squatter that just won't leave.
All of the doors and windows have been boarded up.
Ian says that's why he noticed last summer when he was home on break from college that something was off at the house next door.
We first noticed strange activity around July 4th weekend when we saw a U-Haul truck back up the long driveway in the middle of the night, and we thought that someone had bought the place and was moving in. It wasn't until some of our other neighbors next door informed us that they were actually not the new buyers.
The home had been foreclosed and the bank owned it. A woman named Tamika Good and some others had moved into the house.
They would always try to avoid being seen. There was more of a desire to just understand what was happening, so that's why I kind of took matters into my own hands and sought to take action myself.
Ian, who's studying government at William & Mary, started by looking at the law.
The laws seem to be almost non-existent, and even more towards encouraging this type of behavior rather than deterring it.
Property law and property rights vary from state to state. And in Maryland, when it comes to squatting rights or laws about squatters, it's very sparse. There's actually no direct law about it. Other states like New York or Arizona have created laws that create a clear guideline as to what a squatter is and what a squatter isn't. Because you want to strike a balance between what are the rights of a landlord and what are the rights of a tenant.
Squatting has been a problem across the country. The National Rental Home Council pinpoints the highest concentrations of complaints in states like Georgia, Florida, and Texas. One such case was from Patty Peoples in Jacksonville, Florida, who found out the hard way that squatters had broken in and taken over one of her investment properties.
I called 911, and as I'm describing to the officer that there may be somebody that had broken and entered into my house, out walks a young woman, and she said, well, I rented this property yesterday. It only got worse. I own this house.
It doesn't matter. Yes. Excuse me. If you touch me again,
I have every right to be in this house.
You don't have every right to be in the house at all.
I do, ma'am.
You do not. You do not. I'm not touching you, Mike.
You are touching me.
And this lady is touching me. We're blocking you from coming in the house.
You are
doing too much. God.
Believe it or not, the police officer told me, I will arrest you if you do this again. They have the right to privacy. I cannot tell you the frustration I felt.
Figure out the situation.
Adele Andaloro went through something similar when she says squatters took over a home she inherited in New York City. The confrontation caught on camera by our station WABC.
Why is it that I have to leave and he doesn't have to leave?
Because technically he can't be kicked out. We need to go to court.
At that time in New York City, squatters had tenant rights.
It's crazy, bro. So you telling me someone can sneak in my crib in the night and I can shoot them and blow their brains out and beat it? But if they in there for 30 days, they're going to be kicking me out. The police are going to be arresting me. It's absolute insanity. I don't think I'd ever want to be a landlord, to be honest. But anyway, okay, shit's crazy, right? That's just one of the many scams, many finesses that you could pull in 2026 if you're trying to come up. Now, this is a crazy situation, okay? This is a scam that went down at a dental clinic. Apparently, patients that were treated at this clinic between April 2025 and May 2026 were being charged extravagant amounts of money by the dentist and ended up even being exposed to some serious illnesses. So even the dentists are out here scamming now.
And now the details. Some patients who went to the dentist recently now have to worry about whether they were exposed to HIV and hepatitis. Whoa. The health department says the possible exposure was at Smiles at Rittenhouse Square in Center City. And tonight the practice is closed and patients are being urged to get tested. Action News reporter Walter Perez live in Center City with those details tonight. Walter.
And Rick, health officials are contacting patients from Smiles at Rittenhouse Square who went to the clinic between April of last year until the present day. The reason is what health officials are describing as possible exposure to serious illnesses and viruses, including, as you mentioned, HIV. The investigation is ongoing, but Dr. Kirti Chopra's license to
Bro, just imagine going to the dentist and then you got to get checked out for the HIV. Like, how?
practice dentistry has already been suspended temporarily, and her practice, Smiles at Rittenhouse Square, has been shut down. And it all started after the state health department contacted the Philadelphia Department of Public Health.
They had received a complaint about this dentist and conducted an investigation. Our team went out with them to conduct an on-site visit to document the practices at the dentist office.
The ensuing inspection order goes into full detail about the findings. Those orders state that Dr. Chopra occasionally set aside used single-use anesthetic vials for reuse, and that she does not replace saline bags used for implant procedures until the bags are empty, just to name two.
It ends up being a lot of possibility of transfer of bodily fluids between patients.
Health officials say even though the risk of exposure is low, Dr. Chopra's patients are being encouraged to test for exposure to hepatitis C, hepatitis B, and HIV. An attorney representing the practice sent Action News a statement reading in part, quote, Dr. Chopra will continue working cooperatively with public health officials regarding patient notification, testing recommendations, and any required infection control remediation. We spoke with people who live in this part of Center City who say this is not something you'd expect when going to the dentist.
I am a little surprised because you would trust a medical professional.
Rule of thumb, I would assume that any dentist I go to uses the proper sanitation techniques. So that's pretty, absurd.
It's dark, right? It's dark and it's evil. So you got to be careful with these dentists now. The gas station, the dentist, nowhere's safe no more, okay? Now, this is a crazy scam. We've talked before about people getting, trying to finesse the government, people doing PPP loans, they doing fraudulent invoices to the government. But it turns out the IRS will actually scam you if you're not careful, because a Tennessee man claimed that the IRS sent him $20,000 by mistake, and he tried to return it, and he even ended up getting charged interest for the money that he didn't even ask to be sent to him. And the IRS actually wanted extra money beyond what they sent to him by mistake, even though he did the right thing and tried to return it. This one's insane.
16 miles back from Clarksville, 10 miles Dawson City, 12 miles Springfield, 22 miles Nashville. It's like being in heaven and go any direction you want to go.
Wilson Perry Kirby is right where he wants to be.
Hey, Alexa, when's it going to rain?
Getting to do the things he wants to do.
It'll start raining around 2 p.m.
I can ask her about movie stars, like when John Wayne, she'll tell me when he died, how old he was when he died, and all that stuff. She's good. She's nice to have, I'm telling you.
Kirby is retired and says exactly what he thinks.
I'm country, I'm plain spoken, and I'm loud. I know I am.
Kirby keeps to himself on his farm in Coopertown, yet somehow he got tangled in a mess with the IRS.
She didn't make no mistake. I didn't make a mistake. They made a mistake.
4 years ago, Kirby received a $20,000 tax refund he says was sent in error. Sending it back was a struggle, he says.
This is your letter last summer that says, I received the wrong amount of tax refund on May 10th, 2022.
Yep.
And then, after all his efforts, he says the IRS demanded he pay interest on the money. This year, the tax agency actually kept his entire refund, he says. The IRS wouldn't discuss specifics with me because of federal privacy law.
How much did it hurt when you saw that this year they just took your return?
Oh, I cried. It hurt me.
Kirby's called everyone he can think of for help, from his son to his preacher to the president.
I've tried the president, the governor, the mayor. They don't mind asking you to vote for them. But when you need the help, you can't get a hold of nobody.
Kirby lost his wife 18 months ago, fighting this battle largely on his own ever since.
She knows how to text. She's got a computer in there. I don't even know how to cut it on. But she stuck by me, and I wouldn't have what I have today.
After years of back and forth, he says things finally started moving when we got involved. By the end of this month, he says he is expecting to get this year's refund, bringing this case to a close.
And if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't have got nothing done.
Poor guy, man. He lost his wife. You know, it says, I'm surprised the IRS didn't charge him with a crime and try and send him to prison for their own mistakes. 4 years to straighten this thing out, man. People saying the story is symbolic in so many ways in this world. Even if you try and do the right thing and stay to yourself, a problem will still find you, and sometimes there's no one that can help. I feel that, man. I'm a very honest person. I'm the type of person I would send the money back to the IRS, and I'll probably get in trouble for it. I feel like being an honest person and being straight up has stabbed me in the back so many times in life that, like, I might just be ready to just become a piece of shit with a cold heart, man, because it's just sad. Honest people get the hardest shake in the world. But anyway, okay, now there's also some other interesting scams going on when it comes to checks being taken out of the mail. Apparently thieves are, you know, cooking up new ways to basically, you know, steal your check out of the mail and just pinch your money before you can get it.
I'm outside the Oak Forest Postal Office where earlier this month, Jamie Forward dropped off a $24,000 check in this collection box, which is now wrapped in USPS labels. The Postal Service says they're not aware of this theft, but they're looking into it. And her story is not unique.
Starting 2021, we have seen a dramatic increase in the volume of washed checks.
An old scheme with renewed popularity. Criminals taking a check, dipping it in nail polish remover, or bleaching to erase the payee and amount. But cybersecurity expert and professor at Georgia State University, David Maimon, says more people are learning online not only how to wash checks, but cook them.
Cooking checks is essentially them, the criminal taking the original check, scanning the signatures from the check, taking all the information from the check, then go to Photoshop or any other software which will allow them to edit the check and then print new checks.
Maimon says it's happening everywhere, but several people across the Houston area reaching out to us, worrying that workers at the postal office may be in on the crime.
My financial person, actually, the admin there, had sent me a link to the report by KHOU that was on the website about something happening to someone similar in the Houston area. And so that's why I reached out, because obviously it's a larger problem.
Jamie Forward's $24,000 check intended for a retirement account for her and her business partner ended up in someone's account. Now she's having to work with Chase Bank and Houston police to try and get her money back.
It's a big hit for a small business like ours.
What can people do to prevent this from happening if they have to write that check and mail it?
I mean, I think that at this point, knowing what we know, I strongly recommend folks to simply avoid writing checks and mailing them using USPS.
Another popular tip has been to use gel pens, which are hard to chemically erase, but Maimon says that's not necessarily true because criminals can get around that too. Now, if you
So look, they'll just do anything they can to get your check out the mail and go and spend your money for you, bro. It's diabolical. Now, there's more scams going on at the gas pump as well. Apparently, pump switching is a new thing that's on the rise. And in Pennsylvania, apparently, hey, you got to look out, man, or you might get your pump switched.
It was a routine stop for gas that turned into an expensive lesson for Mignon Adams. She says back in February, she stopped at this gas station off Walnut Street when a stranger approached her offering to help pump her gas.
A young man walked up to me and said, I can fill your tank for you if you want. And I said, that's okay, I'll fill it. I got out, I filled the tank.
Although she declined, she says the man didn't walk away.
And he said, I'll put it back on the gas pump for you. Oh, okay, I said. He walked over and put the nozzle back on the fuel pump. Sure looked like it.
Adams tipped the man for helping her out and drove off. She says it was supposed to be about $28 to fill up, but her credit card bill stated otherwise.
The bill was $150. I drive a Toyota. There isn't any way you could get $150 worth of gas in my car's gas tank.
It's called pump switching. Scammers offer to help pump your gas and never properly hang up the nozzle to end the transaction. Instead, they use your active transaction to fill up their car on your dime or pump gas for others in exchange for cash.
They do come up to you and say, "Can I help you?"
Amy Trachtenberg.
It's diabolical, right? And you think, oh, it's a nice young man. She even gave him a tip to get scammed. It's despicable, man. And look, I'm a sucker. I'm a mark, right? I'm the type of person that'll fall for this stuff. I'm the type of person that will tip someone for saying they're going to put my gas pump away, man. It's actually really sad. But anyway, okay, there's unfortunately scams going on perhaps one of my favorite apps in the world. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? Look, I've put on a few pounds. And it's all DoorDash's fault. And apparently, okay, there was a woman in New Jersey. She got scammed on DoorDash for $6,000 for orders that she didn't make. Now, I need to know how to run this scam because $6,000 on DoorDash, I ain't gonna lie, that's light work.
I'm getting notification after notification after notification that these different transactions were occurring through DoorDash.
In just 2 hours, Erin Fogg says she received multiple notifications from DoorDash about orders she supposedly placed in Idaho, North Carolina, and Ohio. But at the time, she was at her home in South Jersey.
How is it even humanly possible for me to be in 3 different states at one time making $6,000 worth of purchases that I apparently picked up myself?
That $6,000 bought sushi, hamburgers, cake, ice cream, among other things. She immediately contacted DoorDash customer service.
And I called DoorDash and they said, well, it's too late. Your financial institutions are going to have to do a dispute and investigate it for you.
Her DoorDash account was linked to her Cash App account. She reached out to them too.
When I contacted Cash App, they immediately locked me out of my account.
Cash App sent her this email that reads in part, "We reviewed your account and found activity that violates our terms of service. As a result, your Cash App account will remain deactivated." Erin's next step was to contact her other financial institution.
Credit One, which is my credit card, told me that DoorDash told them I made these purchases and that they were not fraudulent.
The New Jersey mom of 8 says she hit a wall.
How will I pay our mortgage? How are we going to feed our kids?
She shared her frustration on her Facebook community group.
Someone recommended that I contact NBC 10 News.
She took their advice.
You guys are amazing. Within 24 hours, you had emailed me. You were on it.
NBC 10 Response reached out to DoorDash, Cash App, and Credit One Bank. With Erin's permission, we sent them all the documentation she provided, including receipts, the messages with the different entities, their actions, and evidence that she was at her Jersey home when the purchases were made in 3 other states. DoorDash called us and said they were investigating. Days later, they sent us the following statement that says in part, "This appears to be the result of a phishing scam where fraudsters compromised a merchant's account." DoorDash went on to say the support Ms. Fogg received was disappointing and fell short of their standards for customer service.
It's cap, right? They're only saying that because big NBC Philadelphia got involved and straightened this out, okay? But they would have said go kick rocks if they could have, man. And I'm a fan of DoorDash, but Uber Eats is better, facts. But like, yo, they would have happily just eaten up her 6K and let the scammers do their thing. All right, it is absolutely despicable, and NBC 10 are the only people that could get to the bottom of this thing. It's absolutely disgraceful. So the last scam that I'm going to show you is a real old school scam. People are going door to door doing scams, and now what they're doing is they're basically offering landscaping and other services, but you ain't getting them services, people.
Contractors who show up unannounced may say they're working in the neighborhood already so they can offer you a great deal. A woman says someone came to her door and promised to do some stonework, but once they were paid, they didn't come back.
These are all the bricks that they ripped out from there.
It was 1 month ago when someone came to Heidi April's door in Pickering. They told her they were doing other jobs on her street and could clean up her stonework, pressure wash her driveway, and seal it to give it a fresh new look. She signed a contract and they started removing her interlocking stones. They asked for $3,000 in advance, and when they got that, they never came back.
So when's the last time you heard from them?
Well, when I gave him the money.
April says it was her late husband who did the stonework, and she feels she was caught at a weak moment wanting it to look its best.
I will never, ever do anything like that, pay anybody anything ahead of time, and especially not door to door.
April signed the contract with Compact Masonry and Roofing. We emailed them and called them several times.
You took $3,000 from her to do some work, and she says that you took the money and didn't come back.
They never got back to us, and when we went to the address listed on their brochure and contract, there was no sign they were there.
So if anyone is showing up at your door, knocking on your door and saying, hey, we can do this work, we can pull up your pavers and make them look real nice and put them back down, and we need cash on the spot, those aren't professional landscape contractors, those are con artists.
I just feel so sad because so much of this really targets like the older, vulnerable people that don't know better, man. Really taking advantage of people's vulnerability, and I just think it's so wrong. You know, I'm a super honest person. I would never scam anyone. I would never want to be privy to a scam. I'm probably the type of person, I'm quite savvy to scams, but at the same time, you never know. There's new sophisticated scams popping up every day. So I'm making this video to warn everybody out there, man. Any of this stuff that you're seeing in these videos, you need to look out, all right? Stay on high alert. Look out at them gas pumps, all right? It's scary. Okay, so stay safe, everybody. I don't want you guys to get scammed. It is very, very unfortunate. I've been scammed in the past. I've had family members that have been scammed big time. It's really, really sad. And honestly, lock them up, man. Fuck the scammers. Don't got no sympathy. Lock them up. Send them to jail. Ruin their lives, because they will quite happily ruin an honest, hardworking person's entire life just for them to get a little bit of money. And it's completely wrong. There's no excuse. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Hope you found that interesting and useful. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.